Hello, today we are painting a buck with acrylic paints. You will need a large and a medium flat brush and a small round brush for details. This is an 8 by 10 inch canvas panel, but any canvas around this size will work. You need a paint palette, a washcloth or paper towel, and a cup for water. As far as your acrylic paints go, you will need black and white. This is a light brown. It's called chestnut, but any lighter warm brown will work. And then you will need blue and green for the background. This blue already has a bunch of white mixed into it, so it's super light blue. If you don't have that and you're working with a darker blue like this, you can just mix a bunch of white in it for your sky and the background, and that will work too. Last but not least, you might want to have a hair dryer so that after you finish painting the background and certain layers of the deer, you can dry it completely before moving on to the next layer. If you don't have one though, you can still follow along. You'll just have to wait for it to dry on its own before moving on to the next step. So let's start off our painting by doing our background. I'm gonna get some blue paint. And right over here, I'm going to make a pile of green as well. And then using that large flat brush, I'm going to start painting by setting a line for the ground. So I'd say about halfway, if you find the center point of the canvas, about halfway between that center point and the bottom, so right about here, you just want to have enough space for your deer to stand on some grass but still take up enough of the painting. So this should do it. And then you're just going to fill everything in above that. Sometimes I get little dried bits of paint in there, so I just wipe them out and then smooth that spot out. Need a little bit more paint. All right. Once that sky is painted, I'm just wiping off some of my extra paint on the canvas I have next to me here. Then you're gonna rinse that brush. And get your green paint and paint that bottom section. Just trying to make it nice and smooth. I don't like when I have a built up line of paint there at the horizon line. The horizon line is where the sky meets the ground. So that's just the fancy term that we use in paintings. So once you get that grass finished, I'm gonna grab that extra paint, Stick that on my canvas again too. And rinse my brush. Now I'm gonna get my hair dryer out and get this background totally dry before I start painting my deer, my buck. We'll also do a deer next, a female deer. All right, so hair dryer, dry this off. Okay, now that is dry, we are gonna get our brown paint. Just ahead of time, we can also go ahead and get some white paint ready. And why not just go ahead and get the black too? So we can use those for some shading where we need it. So we'll get our medium-sized flat brush and starting with our brown paint. I'm gonna find the middle of my canvas right here. And I'm gonna come down just a little bit from the middle right here. Okay, and I'm gonna paint a circle, and this circle is gonna come down from here to about halfway between this dot and the green. So just a little circle to start. Okay, you want to have about this much space between the circle and the green. Remember, you need to paint legs. Just leave enough space for your legs to come in here. Now I'm going to paint another circle a little bit smaller right in front of this circle and connect it. Just like that. And we're painting this small on purpose to begin with, and then we're going to slowly make it bigger as we add on to our shapes. So we need another circle in the back. This front circle is a little bit smaller, and it's slightly up higher than these back two circles. Now, out of this front circle, we're gonna curve up with a line, just like this. Just making a nice little curved line that goes up just past the halfway point. And then we're gonna paint a circle on the top of that. Make sure you're leaving plenty of room for your antlers on top. Okay. Just move that paint out. And I'm going to come out here and down for the tail. See, I'm just kind of getting an idea of where all this stuff is going right now, and then I'm going to build it out later. So I'm going to add another layer to the neck. Bring it down all the way to connect to the bottom of that front circle. Same thing at the back here. The back of this circle is going to come down, curl, and connect to that circle too. Now right where that curls down, we're going to paint a line back, right over, and down over the second circle. Now where that comes down, we're gonna go over that, back up. Actually, we're not gonna go down, we're just gonna paint the circle up like this. So this comes over, up, and down. We can bring this out a little bit more. All right. Right here, I'm gonna fix this, make it the diagonal line right on top of that. And we can bring out the snout of our face too. So you can paint a little circle right in front of this big circle. Connect it back. Yeah, a little more. All right. Now I'm going to start adding some legs on here, but I need to fix the bottom first. So I'm going to bring a line straight down, back, right over those circles. Bringing this chest out a little bit more, right there. And we're going to start with our first leg right here, and we can just paint a line straight down about to halfway between the brown and the green, right here. Then it's going to go straight down. So it came out at an angle, straight down. And now we're going back, and we're going to make this top part of the leg thicker, coming down at an angle to connect with the knee. Just back a little bit too. And then this bottom part of the leg needs to get thicker as well. All right. There's going to be another leg right behind that one. It's just going to go straight down. So we'll take it back a little bit at an angle. Back line's pretty straight. And this front line's going to come down at an angle and stop right. You want this front leg to be a little bit longer than the one behind it. Okay. Now for the back legs, right here, along the curve of the back of our deer, it's going to come down and curve in, going at a diagonal this way. And then it's going to come at a diagonal from right here as well and meet that as a triangle. A little more to the front. So right here, our leg is going to come back a little bit more and then straight down. Past the green just a little bit. Equidistant, so equal to that front leg. And then our other back leg is just going to come right out of the back, this back curve right here, straight back, and then also down. And then we're going to make that thicker. And we'll adjust this and add a line in later so that you can tell those legs apart. But for now, it's just going to look like this back leg is coming out of the leg in front of it. And this leg is going to be the same place, stop at the same place as this one. So I need to make this one a little bit longer. All right. So we can come back and make a little adjustments. I'm gonna bring this up a little bit right here and fix the neck. And add a little more to the tail. So like a curve right above it. All right. I think I need to make my head a little bigger. And I will add the ears with a smaller paintbrush. So during the next step, I'll add some ears on there. All right, I'm gonna rinse my brush. And I'm gonna get that small round brush now. And I'm gonna dry this off before I start doing anything. So I want to start by adding the ears with this small round brush. So right here on the side of the head, I'm going to come out to the left with a curved line and bring it back. Same thing on this side, curve and curve it back. All right. Now it's time to start doing some highlights. So I'm covering the face again with some of this paint. And then I'm going to mix a little bit of white in with this brown. Just a little to make it a little bit lighter. And I'm going to bring some of that lighter brown into the face. Just to the nose a little bit. Down the neck. Now I'm focusing this lighter color in the middle and then blending it out into that darker brown. If it's too much of a difference, you can also grab that original brown and mix the two directly on the canvas. So that looks like this. I'm going to add it to the back here, and then I get that darker brown and blend it right in together, and it makes a really nice smooth blend. Now I really want some of this lighter brown in a certain key spots. So along this front leg, I want it to be the lighter brown. And then I'll also paint along the stomach. You can add a little bit of water to loosen up the paint and it will spread a bit easier. This whole front section here needs to be even lighter brown. So grab some more white, mix that with your brown, and then right underneath the chin, I'm gonna paint this lighter brown all along this chest, up, and blend it back. Right. Now, mixing some more brown back into that. Come back to this back leg here. I'm going to paint down the front, down the leg, Grab some more of that darker brown, mixing the two together right on the canvas. Come back. I'm just basically painting this whole front leg this lighter brown. And I can either just leave these back legs the darker brown, or I can take a little bit of the lighter brown and just blend a little bit in there. Blend it with the darker brown. Not touching this area where the legs connect. I'm going to leave that the darker brown so that you can see them apart, but these have a little bit of a highlight. So a little bit more highlight in the face. I'm going to add a little in the ears, just along the top. All right, now I'm going to step back, look at it, add any final little adjustments. A little bit more of a highlight here in the front leg. All right, dry this off. Now I want to do my antlers, and they're going to be mostly white with just a tinge of this brown. Starting with the left antler, I'm going to come up right next to this ear, straight up. Bring it to a point. And then I'm going to come over and curl up. So I'm going to start from where it's going to end, curl down, over, and connect. Then I'm going to add another one to this part of the antler I just painted. So I'm going to start right over and up above this one, curl down and connect. And then I'm going to add a few spikes. 1, 2, that'll do it right there. Now on the other side, we're doing the same thing. So straight down. And there's going to be one right here. So it's going to start right here, curling down, over, and connect. Pointy here at the end. And then adding another spike right here. And then a few little spikes. 1, 2. I'm going to grab some white. And come back through with a little bit of that pure white. Just touching that into the antlers to make them stand out even more. All right. Now it is time for the black details, and then we will be completely finished with our deer, our buck. So getting the black paint and that small round brush, painting an eye right underneath this antler. Make sure that you don't have any extra water on your brush. I always end up dripping water on my painting and messing it up that way. So make sure your brush is nice and dry and you just have the black paint on the end. And coming in here underneath that antler, I'm going to paint a half circle with a circle inside of it. I'm going to bring it down just a little bit. And now I'm going to take that black and come over here to the front of my deer, right at this point where the nose turns. I'm going to bring a line back, curl it at the edge here, just a little curve, and then come down with it. I'm going to fill this in with the black, but I'm going to grab a little bit of white just on the tip of my brush and blend that into the black to make it more gray. Okay, now I'm going to rinse my brush and go back to the pure black. I'm going to paint some feet. See, I got a little bit too much water there. Just little black squares at the bottom of our legs. I make the bottom of the square a little bit longer than the top. All right. And in that nose, I'm going to add 1, 2 little lines and a little line for the mouth. Okay. Rinsing the brush. And the very, very last thing I'm going to do is add a spot of white in the eye. So I need to make sure that black is dry. And then with my white paint, just coming in with a little dot right in that eye. Just like that, our deer is all finished. Our buck, I should say. Keep calling it a deer, but a deer is coming next. So if you want to watch another video and paint a deer and a buck, you can come along and do that, along with a bunch of other wildlife creatures and so many more categories. I'd love to see you there. So until that time, I hope you have a great rest of your day and take care. Bye-bye.